Hey everybody, good morning. It's the Mad Master here. Just doing a quick video. Was just thinking about this morning, and the fact of the matter is that I never sold out what I believed. After 9/11 and the civil liberties that we were losing because of that event, and in regards to this big event that we're going through right now, and did so knowing full well back then that terrorists exist. Um, the 9/11 was a real thing that happened, and it was bad. And there were a lot of unanswered questions. There were a lot of things, a lot of weird connections to things that we would support as a country, or the Republican Party, or whoever, the corporations. And I knew full well that making that stand was unpopular at the time. Um, Now it became more vindicated as time went on, and a lot of people were afraid, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, you're either with us or you're with the terrorists if you don't support what we're doing." So 2 or 3 years later, lo and behold, though, I'm sitting here, and hearing all these people that were probably, with the plan, quote unquote, back then, now decrying a lot of what happened as a result. And I felt really vindicated, but also very frustrated and pissed off, because if people were smart enough, and it wasn't these people were stupid, but if people were smart enough, or wise enough, and less committed to groupthink and brainwashing back then to really see what was going on, they would have already been at that position and didn't take the Iraq War it wouldn't have taken the Iraq War for them to get to that position and realize, oh, we were being conned all along, with respects to some aspects of this. So when I sit here and say, I care about civil liberties, and I worry about the rights of people during COVID, I'm just going to say it right out. I don't care. Of course, there's going to be a number of people that are going to think that I'm insensitive and a denier. Just like back then, you're either with us or you're with the terrorists. This invisible threat, that we have to fight, blah 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 blah. Because back then it was an invisible threat too. And I've done this video before, basically, in this last summer, but I don't care. I thought I'd do it again. So, I mean, basically, put a lot of points in previous videos, is what I mean. But yeah, I don't see any contradiction to what I've been believing or saying for the last 20 plus years, as far as how I view this and how I view its potential to curtail our liberties and our rights, and 9/11's use by the governments and authorities of the world to do the same. So a lot of people would probably argue the contrary. Well, blah 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 blah. But even Matt Taibbi was talking about this, and Matt Taibbi is definitely a believer in a lot of the mainstream narrative of this. But he also says, shouldn't shame or censor people that have legitimate questions about how this could be used. But that's just my statement about this, is that I've been consistent, and I don't feel like maybe some people people I know may have think that I've changed my opinion about politics, and I'm like some crypto Republican or whatever. As a matter of fact, what happened was quite the opposite. I fully expected a lot of the people that were questioning Iraq War, questioning the government's response to 9/11 as far as the Patriot Act and all that, to be on board with questioning what was going on with this whole crisis. But unfortunately, I felt betrayed, and I felt like when people were not questioning this, they were going along with these things, and they were accepting of these proclamations by the government and powers of being experts, quote unquote, as far as curtailing our rights and our liberties. I felt betrayed. I felt really like I'd been pretty much, it was like I didn't know these people anymore. It's like, whoa, these, including some friends too, because at that point, I didn't know, they probably think that I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist and all these things, but at this point, they probably do think that or do believe that, and that's fine. Let them think that. I mean, now we're seeing a lot of places open up. Now we're even seeing, I guess I heard on a video that even Cuomo is peeling back more restrictions as more sexual harassment allegations come out. It's kind of funny. I think a lot of the powers that be know their time is numbered with regards to these restrictions. I don't know what the groundswell is, what's happening on the ground with people. Are they starting to foment dissent enough to be afraid for their power, their power in their lives, these people in power? I don't know. I mean, I know right now essentially we're under military occupation, if you count Washington D.C., which is pretty scary. You think about, never had in the history of the United States, other than during maybe some war, some times during war, has there been a military lockdown Washington D.C. It's pretty scary. But yeah, I think that's part of the reason why they're peeling back all these restrictions. But my fear again is that these authoritarians will go back to what they were doing before, implement more restrictions or more, ways that they can fuck with the people. Now, back to my idea of people finally agreeing with me on 9/11 to some extent. Not at the same level as I believe in the stuff. I'm on the level of people that believe in like space lasers and all that shit, hit the towers, or drones or whatever. I believe it really happened. I believe everything happened. There's a couple anomalies with the actual like people that were on the planes and stuff. It was like the Muhammad Atta, I think was it Muhammad Atta? It was one of the terrorists' like passports were found in a rubble, which was pretty implausible and improbable, and it was really bizarre. Pardon me, it's been quite a few years since I read a lot of the stuff about 9/11, but most people, even if they don't agree that it was an inside job, did agree that, oh yeah, this was used. They probably knew more about it. All this, our relations with Saudi Arabia are a question. All these other countries. We probably covered up from people. Most people agree with that. Where you're talking about more involved things, they might not agree. But at least in that case, they're agreeing with that, or the Iraq War, weapons of mass destruction. Of course, you have all this weird psychotic revisionism of George W. Bush right now, because he's not Trump. He's not. He's nicer than Trump. He might have bombed more people than Trump, but he's still nicer as a person. So I like him better. He looks better on the TV. He looks better on the TV. He's a nicer person. These people are just fucking use your brain. Jesus Christ. So my whole point is that I did not sell out my values as far as questioning things with regards to this. Now, I could be more of a rebel with regards to this, and I'm going to see what happens. But obviously, I have a lifestyle that I live that would be threatened by certain things if certain things came to pass. So I'd have to make that choice. And then you can call me a hypocrite at the point where, if I did sell out more in this case, like certain things that would have to be done. I was having a conversation last night with someone about that, and it's it's going to be a weird choice to make, but we'll have to see. But my point is that I never sold out as far as questioning things, and I think my opinions about this crisis, as far as civil liberties, governmental power, are very consistent with my values before. And a lot of people probably might not see that because they're basically become what they used to fight or what they used to question. And that's the sad state of affairs that we're living in with this. I hope a day comes where I feel more vindicated about this too, but they may not if they just, that's the whole thing. If they actually, there is some herd immunity because of seroprevalence and or the vaccine, and they do not put more restrictions on people, they do open things up, things do go well, then, at that point, you could say, well, and they don't put more, repress more people's, repress against people's liberties, then you could say, well, maybe I was wrong, maybe I was overreacting, but I don't really want to be proven right with this regards to this crisis, honestly. I want to be wrong. I want to be like I overreacted just as they overreacted to certain things. So that's about all.